Hey everyone, welcome back to another Gloomhaven Enhanced with Lego Bricks gameplay session. Today we'll be doing the Frozen Hollow. My characters are currently in Gloomhaven. In the last episode, my Spellweaver did quite well and got a lot of gold. So I'm going to spend that gold on some new equipment. One thing I learned from the last playthrough was I need some abilities to help me pierce a monster's shield. So I've already looked through the town's inventory of weapons, and I've got on my Spellweaver, I have 46 gold. So I'm going to use 30 of that gold to buy a two-handed weapon, piercing bow, for 30 gold. During your ranged attack, ignore all shield values for the entire attack action. I think that'll be quite helpful in certain situations. Now each character is allowed to equip 5 items. 1 headpiece, 1 chest piece, a leg piece, either 2 one-handed items or 1 two-handed item, and a small item like a potion. So this piercing bow will take up my two-handed slot. So that's 30 gold. That'll put me down to 16. And I'm also going to purchase a minor healing potion for my Spellweaver for 10 gold, because an additional heal is just always good. And that'll put me down to 6 gold. Now I already have a minor power potion. I cannot take both of them into combat with me. I can only take one, but I can keep the other one in my inventory. So for this gameplay session, I'm going to swap out my minor power potion and replace it with my minor healing potion. So my Spellweaver will now be taking into this game the Iron Helmet, minor healing potion, piercing bow, and cloak of invisibility. For the Brute, I've only got 25 gold on the Brute. I'm not going to buy any new equipment. But the equipment I'll be taking into battle for this game is the Iron Helmet, Second Skin, Boots of Striding, and Minor Healing Potion. While I'm in town, I'm going to run another city event. I've already drawn the next card off the top of the deck. You hear screams from the south as you approach the docks and see a group of women running toward you in a panic. An invasion, they yell as they race by you, nearly knocking you over. You hurry to the docks and find a crowd of workers on edge, armed with makeshift weapons encircling one particular pier. Standing at the far end of the wooden planks is a group of lurkers, terrifying crab-like monsters as big as an inox and equally ferocious. Except these lurkers don't appear to be hostile. They are simply standing on the dock, clacking their claws in a strange rhythm. Option A, raise arms and fight the lurkers back into the sea. Option B, approach the lurkers cautiously and attempt to communicate with them. Well, I want to avoid fighting. I think I'm going to go with option B and just see what happens. The crowd parts as you move toward the dock with both confidence and care. The lurkers notice your approach and continue to clack in your direction. You call out to them and ask why they are here, but all you get in response is a change in the tempo of their clacking. When you express confusion, they clack again in frustration and scuttle back into the ocean. The crowd is very impressed that you managed to ward off the creatures without using force. Gain 2 reputation. It's pretty good. So on my party sheet, I was at -1 reputation. I gained 2. That puts me up to +1. I believe that concludes my town's business. I can now travel to the Frozen Hollow. On my way to the Frozen Hollow, I need to run another road event. Again, I've already drawn the card from the top of the deck. As you walk down a dirt path, you see a hard-looking mercenary sitting in a patch of grass. He nods as you pass. "Hey friends," he says. There is something off about his tone, though. "I don't suppose one of you might be willing to part with a stamina potion, would you? I'm headed toward Gloomhaven, but I've just come such a long way and I'm not feeling too good about the stretch I have left." With the clank of his sword sheathed against his armor and a loud groan, the man stands up. "I'll pay you well for it." Option A, sell the man a stamina potion. Option B, politely decline and move quickly on your way. I do not have a stamina potion, and I'm wondering if that is part of the condition of picking option A. I've got healing potions and a power potion, but I don't have a stamina potion. So I'm going to go and pick option B. There was something off-putting about that man. You were more than happy to move along and put some distance between you. No effect. Just to confirm, I did take a look at option A, and yes, I would have had to have a minor stamina potion in my inventory. So I really had no choice, option B. I'll read the Frozen Hollow introduction text. An enchanter has been called for, so an enchanter must be found. Following reports of an Aesler in the Boiling District, you find yourself standing before an abandoned and decrepit tavern, the Crooked Bone. Opening the door, the inside looks exactly as the outside advertised: spiderwebs, splintered stools, and dusty broken glass. Stepping past the threshold, A translucent female suddenly appears before you. Why have you come to this place, mercenaries? Your presence is unwanted, and you are disrupting my research. You quickly explain why you have come, and the woman's frown deepens. Oh, look at the Aesthir woman. She can fulfill all our wishes. All she has to do is wave her hands, and all our wildest dreams will come true. She sighs in frustration and actually does wave her hands. Leave me in peace. You don't move. She stares. Well, instead of disrupting, then maybe you could help. Scratch my back, maybe I'll scratch yours. That's how these things work, right? The woman turns and walks towards a destroyed set of stairs, but after a few steps she fades away entirely. I need an orb from the frozen hollow in the Copperdeck Mountains. The woman's voice comes from directly in front of you, as if she hadn't moved at all. Bring it back to me and I may help you. A map drops at your feet. My name is Hale, by the way. Do not come back without the orb. The map is easy to follow. Deep in the Copperneck Mountains, obscured by snowdrifts, you find the opening to a dark, narrow cave. The wolf tracks around the entrance are troubling, but with a firm resolve, you enter. Now there is a special rule for this scenario. I need to add 3 -1 cards to each character's attack modifier deck as a scenario effect. So I've already drawn out the 3 -1 cards. Add them to the deck, and then give the deck a shuffle. Now, of course, these cards will come out after this scenario. Same thing for the brute. I need to draw my battle goals for this scenario. The brute gets to pick between sadist and purist. Ooh, even though purist is 2 check marks, I don't like the idea of not using any items. But kill 5 or more monsters? I think I could do that. So I'm going to pick sadist. And the Spellweaver can pick between neutralizer and dynamo. I'm going to pick dynamo. Not very likely with a Spellweaver, but with a little bit of luck, might happen. Okay, I've already picked my cards from my card pool. My Spellweaver is taking into battle Flashing Burst, Reviving Ether, Frost Armor, Mana Bolt, Flame Strike, Fire Orbs, Impaling Eruption, and Freezing Nova. That's 8 cards. And the brute, I get to take in 10 cards. So I'm taking Shield Bash, Overwhelming Assault, Spare Dagger, Trample, Provoking Roar, Leaping Cleave, Juggernaut, Eye for an Eye, Sweeping Blow, and Warding Strength. For each character, in order to make room for some of the level 2 cards, I took out basically my loot and move cards, which I'm hoping will not come back to haunt me, which means my ability to loot gold in this game is going to be somewhat restricted. I'm going to have to be standing on a token in order to loot the gold. Well, my characters have arrived at the entrance to the dungeon. So these first 5 hexes I can start in. I think I'll put the brute right in the middle. And Spellweaver, I will put in this corner right here. My brute has 12 health, so he's definitely more robust. And the Spellweaver now is up to 7 health, which is definitely better than the starting of 6 health, because they're both level 2. In this first room, there are 2 stalagmites as obstructions, 1 elite living spirit, and 4 hounds. As with all the monsters, they're randomly placed. So we have number 1, 5, 3, and 6. Now the goal of this scenario is to just kill all the enemies. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. Start of round number 1. Well, my brute goes first. I'm going to use the bottom part of Juggernaut, just for the base movement of 2. I'm going to move just 1, and I'm just going to move right to here. That puts one of the hounds within a range of 3. Then I'm going to use the upper part of Spare Dagger for an attack of 3, range of 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to attack hound number 6, -2, but I hit him for 1, so hound number 6 takes 1 damage, and I get 1 experience point for using this card, and it goes in my discard. Spellweaver is actually next. I'm going to use the bottom part of Flame Strike just for the movement of 2. In this case, the Spellweaver is going to move 2 to get to there. And again, I'm going to attack hound number 6 with the upper part of Flashing Burst for an attack of 3, range of 3, -1. So I hit hound number 6 for 2. So it's down to 1 health. Using this card, I put the sun, or the light element, into the element table. And now that is done. Living Spirit is next. It's going to move. It has a base movement of 3. Well, the closest enemy is the Spellweaver. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't have any attack, but it says curse, target all enemies within range. And I'm assuming the range is its ranged ability on its card. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So the only character within range is the Spellweaver. So the Spellweaver is going to get cursed. Unfortunately, what that means is I need to put a curse modifier card into my deck. Give it another shuffle. And they also put the frost element into the element table. Then that's the end of Living Spirit's turn. Next is the Hound. There's 4 of them. Oof. So their first ability is attack, but their attack is a melee attack, so there's nobody within range for the first ability. Then the second ability is move, -2. Their base movement is 3, so 3 minus 2, they can all move 1. And Hound number 1 will go first. 1. Then Hound number 3, and so he can't be on the same tile as one of the other hounds. He's just not going to move because his base movement is only 1. Then Hound number 5 can move 1. Then Hound number 6 can move 1. I forgot to mention too that the Living Spirit can fly, so this stalagmite actually does not impede the Living Spirit at all. Now the third ability on the Hound card is again attack, but again it's a melee attack and there's nobody within range, so that's the end of the Hound's turn. And that is the end of round 1. The light and the frost go to waning. No other conditions. We're good. Start of round number 2. My Spellweaver goes first with an initiative of 20. The stalagmite does not impede my ranged ability, just my movement. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use the upper part of Frost Armor for an attack of 2, range of 3, and I can consume an element to get an extra attack. So I'm going to consume the light element to get an attack of 3. I get an experience point for doing that. And I'm going to use my piercing bow to ignore the shield values for the entire attack action. So I'm going to attack the Living Spirit. It has a shield of 2, so by using this I can ignore that shield completely. So I have an attack of 3. If all goes well, it all comes down to this modifier card. -1. Well, I managed to hit the Living Spirit for 2. Not too bad. I managed to get through the shield. Now my piercing bow is now consumed. I can use the bottom part of fire orbs to move, possibly. I could move up to 3. Do I want to move? No, I'll stay where I am. So the bottom part of fire orbs I'm just not going to use. Next is the Living Spirit. Living Spirit has a base movement of 3. The ability card says -1, so it can move 2, but it has a ranged attack, so it doesn't need to move. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the Spellweaver's within range. -1 to attack and muddle. Ooh. Well, it's going to attack the Spellweaver, +0. So it hits my Spellweaver for 2, and I get muddled. Muddle means disadvantage on attacks for 2. Okay, so end of my next turn, I can remove that muddle. Brute is next. I am going to be somewhat daring. I hate losing a card so early in the game, but I'm going to use the bottom part of Trample for a move of 4 with a jump, although I don't really need the jump. Attack 2, target all enemies moved through. Now I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm also going to use my Boots of Striding to get an additional 2 movement, so I can move up to 6. And what I'm going to do, I am going to barrel through all of these hounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then end up in this hex right here. So that's my 6 movement. And since I went through every single hound, I can attack each hound for an attack of 2. I get 2 experience points for using the card, so I'm just going to give myself the experience now before I forget. So I'll do them in order. Hound number 6 I went through first. Attack of 2, -1. Hound number 6 gets hit for 1. It only has a health of 1, so the first hound has been eliminated. Now, hound number 1, -1. Hound number 1 gets hit for 1. Hound number 3 was next, +1. So I hit hound number 3 for 3. And then hound number 5, Oh, +3. Woohoo! So I hit him for 6. He only has a health of 4. So hound number 5 is gone. And that was the whole point of using that card, is just to try to get rid of a couple enemies. But I lose this card now. I can use the upper part of Leaping Cleave. I was going to use it to attack 2 enemies, but I got rid of one already. So I'm going to just attack the Living Spirit. So it has a shield of 2. It all comes down to the modifier card. Attack of 3 +0. That's fine. It has a shield of 2. So I hit it for 1. It already has 2 damage. It has a health of 3. So that is enough to eliminate the Living Spirit. And then that goes my discard. And I get 1 experience point for using that card. And that's the end of the Brute's turn. So we got 2 hounds left. They're next. -2 to movement. Their base movement is 3. So they can each move 1. So hound number 1 is going to go first. Well, he's got a choice here now. The Brute and the Spellweaver are both equal distance away. But the Spellweaver went first. So it's going to focus on the Spellweaver. So he's going to move 1 to the Spellweaver. Ooh, +1 to attack. Well, he's going to attack the Spellweaver for an attack of 3, -1. So it hits the Spellweaver for 2. Puts me down to 3 health. Now hound number 3, it's got 2 hexes it could move into to attack the Brute. Well, I'm going to randomize this. I'm going to say roll a 4-sided die. 1 to 2 it'll move there. 3 to 4 it'll move there. 2. It's going to attack the Brute for an attack of 3, -1 again. So hits the Brute for 2. And then that is the end of the round. Living Spirit shows up later in the game, so I'm just going to leave the monster stat sheet there. Shuffle the ability cards. Frost goes to inert. And I'm going to keep track of, and I'll do it with health tokens. I've got to keep track of how many enemies the Brute has eliminated. And that is 3 so far. So if I get 2 more, I will reach my battle goal. Don't need to do a rest at all. I think I want to get rid of these monsters first, and then maybe I'll do a rest. Start of round number 3. The Hound and the Spellweaver are tied for initiative, which means the Spellweaver will go first then. Now, Spellweaver has Muddle. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to use the upper part of Freezing Nova for an attack of 2. So it's a melee attack. Target all adjacent enemies and immobilize. Now, since I'm muddled, I get disadvantage on attacks. So I got to pick 2 modifier cards, and whichever one's the worst is the one I keep. So attack of 2, first card, -2, can't get much worse than that, or -1. So I have to pick -2 as the worst card, which means I do no damage. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Mana Bolt to heal myself for 3. Now the muddle can come off me because it's the end of my turn. Now it's the Hound's turn. Hound number 1, no movement. Oh, they muddle again? Rick. Well, they don't attack. So Hound number 1 just puts this muddle right back onto my Spellweaver. And then Hound number 3 is next to the Brute. So it will just go ahead and muddle the Brute. Well, that's not good. And then that's the end of the Hound's turn. Brute now. Well, I'm going to use the upper part of Warding Strength for an attack of 3, but I'm muddled, so I got to pick worst of 2 cards. +0, that's okay, and -1. So -1 is the worst card. I hit the Hound for 2. It only has a health of 1, so I still managed to kill Hound number 3. It is gone. I'm going to use the bottom part of eye for an eye, actually for the base movement of 2, and I'm going to move on to these money tiles because I want some money. Those go in my discard. Now, since that's the end of my turn, I can already remove this muddle because it only lasted till the end of my turn. That is the end of round 3. I killed another monster, so I get another tick on my battle goal. I'm sitting on 2 coins, so I can take those. Spellweaver is still muddled till the end of her next turn. No shuffle symbols anywhere. Should be good. Start of round 4. My Brute goes first. I'm going to use the bottom part of Overwhelming Assault. Now I can move 3 and push, but I actually don't want to push. I actually just want to move 2. So I'm going to move 2 to there on another coin. Then I'm going to use the upper part of Provoking Roar for an attack of 2 with Disarm. So attack of 2, and I'm attacking the Hound number 1. +1. Actually, that'll be good enough. The Hound has 3 health. I just hit it for 3. The Hound has been eliminated. And that is the end of my turn. So the Hound would have gone next, but it's not there. I'll leave that up for now. That means the Spellweaver, well, I only had move cards anyway, so I'm going to use the bottom part of Impaling Eruption for a move of 4. 1, 2, 3, and I'm also going to end on a coin. Then the upper part of Reviving Ether, just can't use, so they just go into my discard. And end of my turn, the muddle comes off. This is end around 4 cleanup. No shuffle symbols, no conditions, no elements. Okay, Brute is down to 2 cards. Spellweaver doesn't have any. I'm sitting on these coins, so I can grab the coins. So it's either a short rest or a long rest. I'll lose a card either way. I think I'm going to do a long rest, but to do that I have to declare it on the start of the next round. So we'll go ahead and do that. Round number 5. Just going to declare a long rest on both characters. No monsters in the room. They both have initiative of 99, so it doesn't really matter. So by doing a long rest, I heal for 2. Spellweaver's back up to full health. And I can choose which one of these cards to lose. I am going to lose Freezing Nova. I get the rest of them back in my hand. For the Brute, again, I can heal for 2. So both characters are back up to full health. I can choose which of these cards to lose. I think I'm going to lose Eye for an Eye. So the Brute's down to 8 cards total. And that is the end of the round. That was a really quick round. Now I just got to open that door and start making my way through the rest of the dungeon. Start of round number 6. Oh, I forgot. By doing the long rest on the Brute, I can recharge my Boots of Striding. So my Brute goes first. I'm going to use the bottom part of Overwhelming Assault for a move of 3. And I'm going to use my Boots of Striding yet again to add another 2 movement. So I get a total movement of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the upper part of Juggernaut for another movement of 2. 1, 2. So at least I'm right next to the door. And for the Spellweaver, I'm going to use the bottom part of Impaling Eruption for a move of 4. 4. And then the upper part of Fire Orbs, just not going to use. So at least they're both right next to the door. Start of round number 7. The Brute goes first. I'm going to use the bottom part of Leaping Cleave for a move of 3. And I put the air element into the element table. So move of 3. Move number 1 gets me into the door. So open the door. Now I got to populate this room. There's 2 rock formations as obstacles in here. There are 3 frost demons and 1 living spirit. They're all normal. Now the Brute still has 2 movement left. Well, with my 2 movement, I'm going to move 1, 2, get to there. I'm going to use the upper part of Spare Dagger for an attack of 3 with a range of 3. Get 1 experience point for using the card. And I'm going to attack Frost Demon number 6 plus 1. So I hit Frost Demon number 6 for 4. Has a health of 5 though. Still, not a bad start. Now, next is the Frost Demons. So they shield themselves for 2 now. So now they have a shield of 2. And then they can move. So they can move 1. So Frost Demon number 2, actually, which is way over here. And again, I randomized the positioning of these things. Their base movement is 2. So the Frost Demon can move 3. Well, closest path to the Brute is through that Frost Demon. So it can only go 1, 2 to get to there. Because it can't be on the same tile as the other Frost Demon. Frost Demon number 4 is going to move 2. 1, 2 to get right next to the Brute. And then Frost Demon number 6 will also move, but just 1 to get to there. Now it's the Living Spirit's turn. -1 to movement. Its base movement is 2, so it can only move 1. And then attack -1 and muddle. Living Spirit also has a shield. Now, because it cannot move, well, hang on here. The Living Spirit can fly. So can the Living Spirit end its turn in the same tile as another monster? No movement gets it any closer to the brute. So I'm going to say that the Living Spirit just doesn't move, because it can't end its turn in the same tile as the Frost Demon. Spellweaver now. Well, unfortunately, all these Frost Demons have a shield. I'm going to use the bottom part of Flame Strike just for the base movement of 2. I'm going to move 1, 2 to get to there. Then I'm going to use the upper part of Flashing Burst for an attack of 3, range of 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to attack Frost Demon number 6. This puts the light element into the element table. Now, Frost Demon now has a shield of 2. Oh, be good. So an attack of 3, -1, not good enough. I cannot break through the shield, so no damage. And my turn is done. That is the end of round number 7. That goes to inactive. There's a shuffle symbol here, so I gotta shuffle that. These Frost Demons and Living Spirits are going to be a little bit hard to get rid of, I think. Both the air and the light element go to waning. No conditions on anybody. Start of round 8. My Spellweaver goes first. I'm going to use the upper part of Mana Bolt for an attack of 2, range of 3. And if I consume element, I get an extra attack out of it. So I'm going to consume the light element. And I'm going to attack Frost Demon number 6. Even though it's only got 1 health left, I'm going to attack number 6 just to get rid of it. So attack of 3 plus 0. And I got an experience point for consuming that element. So I hit Frost Demon number 6 for 3. It only had a health of 1. It is gone. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Frost Armor. On the next 2 sources of damage, suffer no damage instead. And that's a persistent effect. Let's stick a token on there so I know that it's active. My other card goes into my discard. I've got 1 card left, so I'm going to have to do a rest at the end of this round. That's the end of the Spellweaver's turn. The Brute is next. I'm going to use the upper part of Provoking Roar for an attack of 2 and a disarm. I'm going to attack Frost Demon number 4, -1. So I hit Frost Demon number 4 for 1, and I disarm it till the end of its next turn. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Shield Bash for a movement of 2. Do I want to do that or shield myself? No, I'm going to do it for a movement of 2. Next is a Living Spirit. There's a lot going on in that card. -1 to movement, so it can move 1. +1 to attack. -1 to range. Well, moving doesn't get it any closer. It would actually get it further away. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Well, moving doesn't really help it at all. So I'm going to say that the Living Spirit doesn't move, and then nothing is in range of its attack. So it doesn't attack, and it's not damaged, so it doesn't heal. So that's just kind of a whiff of a turn. Frost Demon. -1 to movement. It has a base movement of 2, but it could attack 2 enemies if they were next to each other, but they aren't. Well, Frost Demon number 2 goes first. It can move 1, so it will move 1. It's not close enough to attack, but then the Frost element gets put into the element table. So end of round 8 cleanup. Air goes to inert. Frost goes to waning. There is a shuffle symbol on the Frost Demon's ability deck. The disarm can come off already. Didn't last very long. Now my Spellweaver needs to do a short rest. So for short rest, I have to randomly lose one of these cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 cards. I'll roll a 6-sided die. 3. 1, 2, 3. What did I lose? I lost Flame Strike. Brute is down to 2 cards, so I should do a short rest on the Brute as well. So the Brute has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. Again, roll 6-sided die. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm losing Shield Bash. Start of round number 9. My Brute goes first. Well, I'm going to use Provoking Roar again. So the upper part, Provoking Roar, I'm going to use for an attack of 2 and a disarm. And I'm going to attack Frost Demon number 4, -1. Well, I hit him for 1, number 4. And again, I disarm it. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Spare Dagger. Do I want to do this? Yeah. Bottom part of Spare Dagger for an attack of 2. And again, attack Frost Demon number 4 +0. So another 2 damage to Frost Demon number 4. Next is the Living Spirit. Well, Living Spirit can move 2. Now, 1, 2, 3. I think it's going to move here. That's the closer path, I think. Attack -1, target all enemies within range. 1, 2, 3. There's only one enemy within range, and that's the Brute. So attack is 2, -1. Hits the Brute for 1. Next is my Spellweaver. Doing something a little bit unorthodox, maybe. I'm using the bottom part of Fire Orbs. I can move up till 3. I'm only going to move 2, or maybe I'll just move, no, I'm going to move 2. 1, 2. Now, I'm going to use the upper part of Impaling Eruption. Attack of 3, range of 4. Target all enemies on the path to the primary target. This whole path to the primary target thing, I'm not sure how to analyze it other than, so my primary target I think is going to be the Living Spirit. So if I drew a straight line from, say, the corner of this hex to the corner of that hex, it passes through these 4 hexes. So basically, I can target all 3 enemies. Pretty sure that's how that works. Now, I am next to the first Frost Demon number 4, which means I would have disadvantage on that attack. But that's fine. Well, I'll attack them in order. Frost Demon number 4 first. I get 1 experience point for each enemy targeted. There's 3 enemies targeted. I'll go ahead and take that now. So, Frost Demon number 4. I have to draw 2 cards, take the worst one. Either +0 or 2 times. Oh, that's so disappointing. I have to take the +0. Now the 2 times I'm going to leave out because I need to shuffle that back into the deck. Still, +0 is fine. I hit Frost Demon number 4 for 3. So it only has a health of 1, so I overhit it for 2. Still not enough to activate my battle goal. But at least I get rid of one of the Frost Demons. So Frost Demon number 4 is gone. Now, Frost Demon number 2, attack of 3, no disadvantage, -1, so I hit it for 2. Now the Living Spirit has a shield of 1, so attack of 3, +1. Oh, well that is really good. So I hit it for 4, has a shield of 1, which means I hit it for 3, it only has a health of 2. I just killed the Living Spirit. Sweet. But by using this card, I lose the card. The other one goes in my discard. Still, that's a pretty good result. I'm actually quite happy with that. The remaining Frost Demon is next. -1 to movement, so it can only move 1. So it'll move here. And now it has an attack. It'll reactivate the Frost element back to strong. It has an attack of 3. It's attacking the Brute, +1. Hits the Brute for 4. The Brute is down to 2, 4, 7 health. That's the end of the Frost Demon's turn and the end of the round. So what do we got here? Shuffle symbol on the Frost Demon deck. Not bad. 1 monster left. Now I gotta shuffle my Spellweaver's deck because I drew the 2 times card. Frost goes to waning. No other conditions. Start of round number 10. Card for the Frost Demon. What a horrible card. Well, it acts first. It doesn't have an attack, but it has an immobilize. Target all enemies within range. Let's do that first. So it has a range of 2 on that ability, and both are within range. So it's just going to immobilize both the Spellweaver and the Brute. So they are immobilized. And since there's a frost element in the element table, it's going to consume that and heal itself up to 3, but it's only got 2 damage, so now it's up to full health. Well, that's not good. I was hoping to get rid of it. But that's the end of its turn now. Well, the Brute is next. I'm going to use the upper part of Warding Strength for an attack of 3 and a push of 2. So attack 3 plus 1. So I hit the Frost Demon for 4. Well, it's too bad it healed itself. It would have been gone. And this time I am going to use the push. So the push of 2, I'm going to push it 1, 2 to there. Now I was going to use the bottom part of Leaping Cleave to move, but I can't because I'm immobilized. So that's the end of my turn. But now that's the end of my turn, that immobilize can come off. So that didn't last long. Spellweaver. I was going to move with the bottom part of Flashing Burst, but I'm immobilized so I can't move. But I can still use the upper part of Reviving Ether to recover all of my lost cards. In doing so, I lose this card. That goes in my discard, but at least I recovered my lost cards. And now the immobilize comes off me as well. Start of round 11. Well, the Frost Demon goes first, and it's immediately going to shield itself. So it shields, and then it can move. And it can move up to 4. So it's going to move 1, 2 to get next to the Brute. That's the closest enemy it can focus on. So it's shielded for 2. It only has 1 health left, but now I have to get 3 damage to break the shield, which is a tall order. This turn is over. The Brute is next. Well, does that change what I wanted to do here? No, I'm still going to try. I'm going to use the upper part of Juggernaut. I could move 2. Might as well move on to a token. So I'm going to move to there, and then attack of 2. So it's got a shield of 2, so this has to be a good card. Attack of 2. -1. Nope. Didn't get through the shield. Well, what to do now? I'm going to use the bottom part of Sweeping Blow for a move of 3, actually. And you know what? I'm just going to go around this thing. 1, 2, 3. Because I don't know. I'm tired of that guy. I'm just going to go around him. I did want to get that money token, but screw it. I want to get to this door. That's the end of my turn. Spellweaver's next. Well, the Spellweaver could still get lucky here. I'm going to use the upper part of Flame Strike for an attack of 3 and hope I can get through that shield. -1. Nope, shield of 2. I cannot get through the shield, so no damage. And, well, because of that, I'm going to use the bottom part of Impaling Eruption. I can move up to 4. I can move through the Brute, so I can actually go 1, 2, 3, and move right to there. And those go in my discard. That's the end of the round. No shuffle symbols, no conditions. Brute's down to 1 card. I need to do a short rest with the Brute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards left. 2. I'm losing Spare Dagger. Spellweaver, I have 2 cards left. I should actually do a rest as well. But what are the cards? Do I really need to? I don't need to, so I'm not going to do a rest on the Spellweaver. Start around number 12. My Spellweaver goes first. I'm going to use the upper part of Mana Bolt to attack the Frost Demon for an attack of 2, range of 3. -1. But that's fine. I hit it for 1. It has a health of 5, but it already has 4 damage, so that is enough to kill it. Frost Demon number 2 is gone. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Freezing Nova just to move 2. I'll sit on that money token. That goes in my discard. Brute. I'm going to use the bottom part of Overwhelming Assault for a move of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the upper part of Juggernaut for another move of 2. So that is the end of round 12. I feel like I'm doing okay. Anything above round 12, you start getting low on cards. I think the most I've ever gone is like around 18 or something like that. So really, I don't have a lot of turns left. So I've got to get through that door on the next turn then. I've got no cards left on the Spellweaver, so I have to do a short rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. 3. 1, 2. I'm losing Flame Strike. Brute. I have 4 cards. I'm good for a couple turns. Start of round 13. I just have to get through that door. So my Spellweaver goes first. I'm using the bottom part of Impaling Eruption to move 4. Oh, I was on a coin. I get that coin from the last turn. 1, 2, 3, into this door. Now I got to populate this room. I've already got all the obstacles in here. There are 6 rock columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 stun traps, and 1 treasure tile. In addition to that, there's a normal hound, an elite frost demon, and 2 normal living spirits. Now my Spellweaver can finish its turn. I'm going to use the upper part of Flashing Burst for an attack of 3 with a range of 3, and the hound is within my range. So this puts the light element into the element table. Attack of 3, -1, so I hit the hound for 2. Next is actually the Frost Demon. Now the reason why I had the Spellweaver open the door is because the Spellweaver still has Frost Armor, so I'm immune basically to the next 2 attacks. Frost Demon just immobilizes all enemies within range, in a range of 2. No enemies within range, so that is the end of the Frost Demon's turn. Hound is next. It's going to move. It can move 3. Now I can either move into this hex or this hex to get to attack position. I'm going to roll a 4-sided die, say 1 to 2 there, 3 to 4 there. So 1. Now it's going to attack for an attack of 2. The ability card says attack +2 if the target is adjacent to any of the hound's allies, which it is not. So just an attack of 2, -1. But the Spellweaver blocks the attack using my Frost Armor. So I move this over 1. I get 1 experience point for blocking that. And that is the end of the hound's turn. Living Spirit is next. It's going to attack with -1 to its range. So it's not close enough to attack anybody. So that is the end of Living Spirit's turn. Brute is next. Well, I'm going to use the bottom part of Sweeping Blow for a movement of 2 because I can't get past my Spellweaver. So I'm going to go 1, 2 just to get to there. And then the upper part of Warding Strength I'm just not going to use. End of round 13, Cleanup. That goes to inactive. That goes to inactive. This has a shuffle symbol. I don't want to jinx myself, but I feel like this is like the cleanest playthrough I've had so far in terms of catching all of the conditions. I mean, I'll know for sure when I do the editing, but I feel like I haven't missed anything. At least nothing major. Just got to get these 4 enemies. That Frost Demon has 10 health. That's going to be difficult, especially if he draws the shield card. Light element goes to waning. Brute has 2 cards left. I should probably do a rest for the Brute. Spellweaver still has 3, so I'm going to do a short rest on the Brute. I have 4 cards. 1, I will lose this one. Overwhelming Assault. So I have 1, 2, 3. I only have 5 cards left on the Brute, so I'm only going to get like 2 turns out of this. Okay, start of round 14. So the Hound and the Spellweaver are tied for initiative, which means the Spellweaver is going to go first. I am going to use the bottom part of Mana Bolt for a movement of 2, and I'm going to move right into here. Now I'm going to use the upper part of Fire Orbs, and I'll lose the card if I do this, but attack of 3, range of 3, target 3. Well, I've got 3 enemies here, and they're all within a range of 3. And I get 1 experience for each enemy targeted. Go ahead and take that. So let's start with Living Spirit number 5. Attack of 3, +0. Living Spirit has a shield of 1 and a health of 2, which adds up to 3. So I get through the shield and I hit it for 2, and that's enough to kill the Living Spirit. Now I'm going to attack the Frost Demon, -1. So I hit the Frost Demon for 2. And the last Living Spirit, attack of 3, +0. Good enough. Again, hit it for 3. So again, that Living Spirit is toast. And this put the fire element into the element table. Now next is the Hound. Well, it can move, but it's not going to move because it's already next to the Spellweaver. So it will muddle the Spellweaver. Spellweaver's muddled till the end of her next turn. And that's all that the Hound does. So next would have been Living Spirit, but they've both been eliminated. So my Brute is next. I'm going to use the bottom part of Leaping Cleave for a move of 3 with a jump. And I'm going to jump over this enemy, 1, 2, 3, to get to there. I'm going to use the upper part of Juggernaut to attack the Hound for 2. So an attack of 2, null. Well, I was getting low on cards, so I knew that null card was coming at some point. The bottom part of Leaping Cleave put the air element into the element table. My attack has been nullified. That's the end of my turn. Frost Demon's next. It has -1 to its movement, but it can move 3. Oh, its attack can target 2. I didn't notice that. Well, it's going to then move just 1 to get there. Then it's going to attack both of my characters. It's going to attack the Spellweaver first, because she acted first in the round. So attack of 3 plus 1, 4, but I still have my shield, Frost Armor, so I'm going to consume the last charge of my Frost Armor. I get an experience point for doing that. That is now inactive, and I lose that card, but I absorb that damage. Now for the second attack, you'll attack the Brute. Well, another +1 hits the Brute for 4. Brute is down to 3 health. And that put the Frost element into the element table. I don't think I've had so many elements active at the same time. And that is the end of the Frost Demon's turn. So end of round 14 cleanup. There's a shuffle symbol on the Frost Demon. Living Spirit is gone, so I'm going to take that out of the game. That goes to inactive. Got a shuffle on my Brute's deck. Spellweaver is still muddled. That'll be to the end of my next turn. Light goes to inert. Fire, air, and frost go to waning. Spellweaver only has 1 card left, so I need to do a short rest with the Spellweaver. 4 cards. 3, 1, 2. I'm losing fire orbs. 4 cards left on the Spellweaver. Brute is okay for another turn. Start around number 15. My Brute goes first. Before I forget, I'm immediately going to use my minor healing potion to heal myself for 3. That is now consumed. I'm going to use the upper part of Provoking Roar for an attack of 2 and a disarm. And I'm going to attack the Frost Demon. So attack of 2 plus 0. I hit the Frost Demon for 2 and I disarm it. Then I'm going to use the bottom part of Sweeping Blow to move 3. And I'm going to move through the Spellweaver. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move over here. Now the push I'm just not going to use. Spellweaver's turn is next. I'm going to use the bottom part of Flashing Burst to move 4, but I'm only going to move 3. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3 to there. Now I'm going to use the upper part of Impaling Eruption. Attack of 3, range of 4. Additionally, target all enemies on the path to the primary target. Gain 1 experience for each enemy targeted, so I'm going to put the 2 experience here so I don't forget. This puts the Earth element into the element table. So primary target is the Hound. The Frost Demon is in the path, so I'm going to target the Frost Demon first. Now I'm muddled, so I've got to take the lesser of the next 2 cards. So attack of 3 plus 0 or -1. So I've got to use -1. So I hit the Frost Demon for 2. So I can take, that puts it up to 6 damage. Still disarmed. Now for the Hound, attack of 3, either +1. Well, that's a good card with bleed. So we've got +1 with a bleed or +1 just regular. Well, actually, the worst card then is just +1. But you know what? That means I hit it for 4. It only had a health of 2. That's enough to kill the Hound. So the Hound is out of the game, so I'm going to take the card away here. I lose this card. That goes in my discard. Frost Demon is next. You've got a base movement of 3, -1 from the ability, so it can move 2, but it's only going to move 1 to get there. It can attack, but it's disarmed. So it's not going to perform any of its attack action because it is disarmed. Otherwise, it would have attacked the Brute because the Brute went first. But now that's the end of its turn, it loses the disarm. So end of round 15 cleanup. No shuffle symbols. My muddle can come off my Spellweaver. These 3 go to inert. That goes to waning. Brute needs to do a short rest. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. 3. I'm losing Provoking Roar. Spellweaver only has 2 cards. There's only one in the discard, so this is actually the Spellweaver's last turn. Got to make it count. That goes to inactive. Start of round 16. Spellweaver goes first. I'm going to use the upper part of Freezing Nova. Attack of 2, target all adjacent enemies, and immobilize. Really just using it for the attack of 2. +1, I hit the Frost Demon for 3. Frost Demon has 1 health left. And then I'm going to use the bottom part of Mana Bolt for the base movement of 2. And I'm just going to move on to this coin. That's the end of my turn. Brute is next. I'm going to use the upper part of Warding Strength for an attack of 3. Unless I get really unlucky, this will do it. -1, I hit the Frost Demon for 2. It only has 1 health left. That's enough. Frost Demon has been eliminated. Now I still have the other card, which is the bottom part of Leaping Cleave. I'm going to use a move of 3 with a jump. Not that it matters, but it puts the air element into the element table. And I can jump over the stun trap and land on this treasure. And that's the end of my turn. And that is also the end of this scenario. So I get the treasure. I'm going to take a look at what that is. That was actually 20 gold. So I get 20 gold for that treasure. Spellweaver is also sitting on a money tile. And the Brute killed another enemy. I wasn't keeping track of that, but he killed at least one more enemy, so he killed 5 total. Right, before I add everything up, I'll do the conclusion. With the last of your adversaries dead, you approach the back of the chamber, where a small blue sphere floats above the floor. You slowly reach out your hand and find the orb cold to the touch. With a firm grip on it, the temperature is almost unbearable, but you quickly stash it in your pack and make your way back to the Crooked Bone. You enter the abandoned tavern and call out to Hale. With no response, you wander around, observing the chaotic mess around you. You wonder how she gets any work done in this environment. As you approach the counter, Hale appears before you, holding the orb. Very interesting. She doesn't seem to notice you at all. A rift in our plane, somehow contained within a spherical barrier. Good thing you didn't break this on your way back. You easily could have been sucked into a realm of pure frost and been frozen solid before you had time to breathe. Or something worse could have happened. It's just so confounding. Who would have the power to do this? Hale takes a step to the left and disappears again. You wait for what feels like hours, refusing to sit on the few stools that haven't yet fallen apart. You call out occasionally, but receive no response. Oh, you're still here. You turn around to see Hale in the middle of the room. Good. I'd like to experiment on you if it's all right. She reaches out to you and you stumble backward, falling over a table that splinters into hundreds of pieces. Oh, don't be a baby about it. I'm pretty sure it will end well. Hale explains that she wants to try to bring forth raw power from another plane and contain it in a small orb that could give enhanced powers to anyone possessing it. The containment process, however, requires a lot of gold metal. Now that you have helped me in my endeavors, I suppose I should return the favor. Hale sighs. So what was it exactly that you wanted? Now this doesn't open up any new locations, but it has references to 7 different scenarios, 7, 19, 31, and 43. So I think that just means that it's linked to those. But I also get a global achievement called the Power of Enhancement. Now this global achievement, I get a sticker on my world map for this. Before I mark that global achievement, I will add up my experience in gold for my characters here. Let's do the Spellweaver first. I have 3 money tokens at a conversion rate of 2. That gets me 6 gold. So I'm up to 12 gold. And I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 experience earned plus 4 for the successful completion of the scenario. 16, that puts me up to 64. I did not earn a check mark because I did not finish my battle goal. And I don't have enough experience to level up yet. I need 95. I only have 64. But before I forget, I'm going to remove those 3-1 cards out of the Spellweaver's deck. I drew all 3 of them to make sure there's nothing else in here I need to take out. Curse card, I got to take that out. For the Brute, I also have 3 money tokens at a conversion rate of 2. That gives me 6, plus the 20 I got from looting the chest. 26 gold. Add that to the 25 I had before. I'm up to 51. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 experience plus the bonus of 4, so 9. 67 plus 9 is 76. Not enough to level up, but I did get my battle goal of kill 5 or more monsters, so I did get a check mark, and that gives me 3 check marks, which means I get another perk. So what do I want to do? Maybe replace one -1 card with one +1 card. Let's do that. I can remove a -1 card and replace it with a +1. It feels good making your characters more powerful, even if it is just one lonely card. Okay, now my party is back in Gloomhaven then, which is kind of evident by the scenario conclusion text. Get some of this out of the way here. Move this out of the way. Got to get my world map. Okay, global achievement. Power of enhancement. There's an achievement on here from a previous gameplay session. Now, achievements just unlock different features of the game. What this particular achievement does is it allows you to upgrade or enhance your ability cards. So as an example, I'll grab one of my cards. So if we look at the Brute's card, Leaping Cleave, you can see that there's a small blue dot next to both the attack and the number of hexes that are within the range of the attack. By unlocking the power of enhancement, it now allows me to spend gold to add enhancement stickers to my ability cards. And that could either be things like increasing the area of attack, or adding +1 to any of the abilities, or I can add a stun, tons of different effects. Now the gold cost for these are pretty big. I'm looking at the base chart here. Looks like the lowest cost for an enhancement, which is a move, is 30 gold. And the cost goes up with the level of the ability card. So if it was a level 2 card, it would be an additional 25 gold. So it costs a lot to enhance your cards. So I think I'm a ways away from adding any enhancements. I think I want to gear up my characters first with the remaining gear slots. And then any leftover gold can go to enhancements. Now once you enhance a card, if I were to play this game again, the enhancements are permanent. So I'm considering this playthrough that I'm doing right now the first playthrough that I've ever done, even though I did play this game a little bit before. I only got through like 4 scenarios. So I'm considering this my first playthrough. But if I did a second playthrough and I played the same character type, like the Brute, I could keep all the enhancements on the cards, even if I started at level 1 again. So it allows the game to be globally progressive. You can play multiple times. The last thing left to do is to pick the next location to go to. I'm going to mark off here that the Frozen Hollow has been completed. So we are left with 4 locations: Inox Encampment, Gloomhaven Warehouse, Plane of Elemental Power, and Forgotten Crypt. So I'm going to roll a 4-sided die to figure out where to go to next, and we'll just go in order. So if I roll a 1, Inox Encampment, 2, Gloomhaven Warehouse, 3, Plane of Elemental Power, and 4, Forgotten Crypt. 2, we are going to do Gloomhaven Warehouse next. So that's right in the town of Gloomhaven. I will mark that on my party sheet so I don't forget. Well, that's it. A successful playthrough of the Frozen Hollow scenario. I actually enjoyed building the dungeon because it's a bit of a different setup than some of the previous dungeons were. Gloomhaven Warehouse should be an interesting one as well, but that'll be for the next episode. I'm really starting to enjoy the game. I made some mistakes, I think, toward the end of this playthrough, but, and you won't see it because I edited it, I corrected my mistakes and went through and replayed the round. That's the benefit of doing the recording. I actually had to go back and watch my recording to figure out what cards were played, and I had to reverse everything so that I could correct my mistake. But I think this was one of the cleanest playthroughs I've had so far. So it's just a matter of taking your time. At the beginning of your turn, check your conditions. At the end of your turn, check your conditions. And at the end of the round, make sure you check all the conditions as well to make sure everything gets moved accordingly or taken off, removed, added, whatever. Just be patient. Well, that's it for this episode. In the next episode, we'll start off in Gloomhaven again. And since the Gloomhaven Warehouse is right in town, we won't actually have to travel anywhere to get there. At least I'm pretty sure I won't need to run a road event. Thank you so much for watching this playthrough of the Frozen Hollow. I'll see you in the next episode.